Randy kind of teases stuff about Uri Geller right now. Uri Geller is the guy who was spending spoons and keys and making compasses move around. He was very popular in the 1970s, and basically, when Johnny Carson was hosting the Tonight Show, Geller was on, and with Randy's help, they showed him to be somebody who maybe doesn't really have psychic powers like Geller claims. I don't know if Geller's a fraud. There's a lot of evidence that indicates that he just makes crap. It doesn't matter.
I thought he'd admitted it.
He's very cagey about these sorts of things. Kind of admits it, then he doesn't admit it, then he's very litigious. If you claim he's a fraud, he'll sue you. He sues everybody. It's ridiculous.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm absolutely certain that I saw a James Randi video in which he actually said that Geller had admitted to being a fraud.
Geller kind of says, "Oh, I'm not really a psychic, but maybe I have powers." He really does sort of talk out of both sides of his mouth when it comes to this sort of thing. He's always making all these ridiculous claims. But the point is, every single thing he does, every time he moves a compass, every time he bends a key or a spoon or stops a watch or anything, it's really easy to do this, using a trick. And it's easy.
It's a very limited repertoire he has of tricks.
Yeah, he can do like 6 things.
It's about 4.
He can fool me because I'm a scientist, right? I'm not a stage magician, but every stage magician I know, like James Randi or James, these are guys who are really the best in the world. They just look at him and snort. They laugh and say he's terrible at it. It's like Sylvia Brown and John Edward, these people who speak to the dead. They're using cold reading techniques.
You haven't been keeping up to date with my videos, have you, Phil? I'm addressing John Edward and cold reading techniques. Not in a great detailed way. I'm just throwing in my tuppence worth, but these are techniques that are so well understood, and I actually put forward a challenge to him a week or so ago. I said I'm doing a charity event. Okay, you don't need the money, but the charity does. Would you please accept the James Randi challenge? Get the £1 million and donate it to this charity, please.
Right.
And if you're not going to do it, why won't you do it? Obviously, he's not going to do it because he's a complete charlatan. But,
well, I wouldn't say that just because I don't get sued.
I don't mind him trying to sue me for libel or slander. You might not want to say it. I'll say it. He's a con artist, a charlatan, and a fraudster. Same as Peter Popoff. I'm not inviting you to endorse those statements, but I don't mind him trying to sue me. I understand that your position might be somewhat more sensitive and diplomatic.
Yeah, I tend to. I
think
myself.
Deep down you probably agree with me.
I speak for myself when I can, but unfortunately, because I'm because I'm president of the JREF and because I blog for Discover magazine, it makes it a little difficult for me to say what's on my mind these days, unless I'm really super careful. But basically, we've challenged Uri Geller, we've challenged Sylvia Brown. Say, come on, take our $1 million challenge. Prove under, well-tested conditions that you can do anything you claim to do, and we'll give you $1 million. And we've done this with psychics before, and a lot of them say, "Oh, this money is got evil markings on it. It's got negative waves, and I don't want to take this $1 million for that reason." It's like, okay, tell you what, win our $1 million, and we will give it to the charity of your choice, just like you said. We'll give it to Doctors Without Borders. We'll give it to name a charity that we can agree on, and we'll just give it away to them instead of to you. Certainly Uri Geller and Sylvia Brown don't need $1 million. They're raking the money in, but if they don't, they don't need it to live or die on, but certainly it's a nice bit of change. And if they want to give it to a charity, we'll do that. But they keep refusing to take our test, and they say, "Oh, the test won't be fair." And it's like, that's not true. We will negotiate with you until the test.
The terms between James and Sylvia Brown were spelled out quite clearly on the Larry King show. And she's never done it. But I mean, in researching John Edward, I looked at his program of events. Now, one of them is held in this country, in Manchester, and it's sold out, and it's sold out for a ticket price of about $135, I think, which is about 100 quid. I can't remember, but the capacity of the place in which he's holding it is over 3,000, which means in one evening he's going to make 300,000 less expenses, obviously. So in a way, he ain't going to want the $1 million, but he stands on the doorstep of such fame and scientific progress by proving that he has these powers, and for such an arrogant little twerp as he is, I'm somewhat surprised that he doesn't wish to do that and win a Nobel Prize.
John Edward, you're talking about.
And
John Edward. You know, this
John
is
Edward,
interesting.
yes, or Sheila Brown, or Sylvia Brown. Sorry, whoever they are, or that other fat moustache git. What's he called?
James Van.
I know you can't say this, but that's the one.
So the thing here, look, John Edward. I know people who have gone to. He charges a lot of money for his shows, and they make you sign a bazillion forms when you're in there. You're not going to videotape it. You're not going to talk about it. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. And it's funny. It says this is for entertainment purposes only. Now, John Edward was just on the Glenn Beck show. Now, if you want to talk about a black hole of crazy, there you go. But he's on the Glenn Beck show, who's I don't know if you're aware of this. This guy's a commentator on the Fox channel here in the States. Glenn Beck is a.
We have a user in a YouTube user in the room who does a lot of videos about Fox News, and because of those, I'm very aware of who Glenn Beck is, and I think I actually used a clip of his video. If you're referring to the bit where he says that he would not be tested because he would refuse to be tested by a man who has an adjective as a first name, is that what you're referring to?
Okay, yeah, that's the actual clip. I think that's funny considering his first name is a synonym for toilet. I mean, if you want to pull out, I'm not making fun of people named John. I'm just making fun of a stupid claim like that. That's an excuse. He's saying, "Oh, I'm not going to get tested by someone who's got an adjective for a name." That's just dumb. That's clearly an excuse. The reason he doesn't want to get tested by Randy is because he knows he won't pass. But the funny thing about this, the point I want to make up, is that on that video clip, which we just put up on randy.org, randi.org, go there, he says, "I don't think of myself as an entertainer." And it's like, well, if you're making people sign a liability form that says this is for entertainment purposes only, and you don't think of yourself as an entertainer, where does that leave us? Does that mean you're not entertaining?
The clip I used from that.
You're not a psychic?
The same broadcast was that he actually said that he thought he was an educator and a teacher. And I mean that is absolutely.
That's right. We're certainly using him that way.
And John, if you're watching now, come and sue me.
We use him that way. We're educating people to show them that he's full of it.
To sue me. Anyway, I am again monopolising your time. Please, we've got an audience of nearly 1,000. I'm sure they have much more interesting questions than I do. Again, if you'd like to maybe address some of the questions that are coming up, I don't want to monopolise your time.
This question go back about 300 times. Have you seen Thunderfoot's video about a potential impact on IO? I don't care for this guy Thunderfoot. I think he's kind of a loudmouth. And
he's my next guest. Be careful what you say.
No, I have not seen.
He's my next guest. Be careful.
No, I haven't seen that video on an impact on Io. Recent impact on Jupiter. No idea about that, and I can't watch it now, of course, because if I do, I will probably sort out the entire internet, considering how much trouble. But I'll take a look at it. I mean, we know that there are volcanoes on Io, so like a big old slice of pizza. So I would be surprised if we could tell if something hit Io. It would be really hard to tell. So let's see. How would I? This is a good one. How would I recommend starting a skeptical student club at my university? That's a really good question. If you're a lot of people, I get email all the time, who are saying, "Gee, until I found your blog, or until I found Randy or Michael Shermer or any of the other skeptic groups, I thought I was alone." There are people out there living in Kansas, who didn't even know that there are organized skeptics out there. I would suggest going to the Center for Inquiry, that's CFI. Look them up on the web. They're also, there's also what used to be called CSICOP is now Committee. Oh, yeah. It used to be the Committee for Scientific Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal. Now I think it's just Committee for Scientific Investigation. I'm completely blanking on what their acronym stands for. But if you go out there, they actually are very big on getting college campuses to promote skeptical groups and do things like that. That's what I would suggest. Go to those sorts of organized, top-down, national. They'll be able to help you do that. There's a guy named DJ Grothy. DJ does Point of Inquiry, which is a great, fairly academic, very good